Hi folks, and welcome to Attica Armory. So I'm going to show you guys a real quick little fix on something that pretty much almost everybody that buys a 1022 wants to do right off the bat. And I'm really not sure why Ruger hasn't done this after 50 plus years of making the 1022, but it's a real simple mod and it really is something that I can't live without, and that is the auto bolt release. So instead of having to do the weird little trick where you've got your bolt locked back and you want it to go forward, but instead of just pulling it and letting it go like every other gun on the planet, you've got to pull it back and then you've got to kind of rub it a certain way, and you got to stand on one leg, pat your stomach a little bit with one hand, and you got to kind of say a quick prayer, and then and only then when you release it will it finally go forward. So instead of doing all of that, we just want to be able to do a very normal thing, pull it back, let it go, and have that bolt go forward. I'm going to show you guys how to do that really easy and really quick with just the factory parts, so you don't have to buy any aftermarket stuff to put in there. These are the tools that I'm going to be using today. I've got a couple of small punches to drift out those cross pins. I've got a pair of needle nose pliers that come in kind of handy in case you drop some small parts into that trigger housing. I've got my Wheeler fat wrench to torque that stock screw back on, and that's a 5/32 hex bit. Then I got my trusty Dremel rotary tool with a tiny little grinding bit. And last but not least, got my non-marring mallet. So this procedure is going to be essentially the same for any Ruger 1022 model. The only real key differences are between the takedown versions and the standard versions. So the takedown does have two separate stock screws for the front part and for the rear part, but we're not going to really worry about that front one. We're just going to go ahead and remove this whole barreled section, and we're just going to take off that rear stock screw. Now if you have a standard version, that's the only one that you've got to remove, and then you've just got to basically put your safety about halfway in between safe and fire in order to pull that receiver up out of the stock. Now we're only going to take 2 pins out of this. We're not going to do a full disassembly. So we'll start off with the one that holds our ejector. This bottom pin here that holds that bolt stop, we're just going to push that about halfway out. So once we get that bolt stop plate out of there, I'm going to go ahead and use my rotary tool with just a tiny little abrasive kind of grinding bit. And I'm not going to go too crazy on the RPMs with this thing. I'm just going to kind of move slowly and just get rid of that little nub right there. Alright, so I want to show you guys something really close up so that you can see, just in case you're having some troubles. If you get this thing put back together and grinding this section flat is just not working, what you might need to do is you might need to actually kind of give it a little bit of a curve up here toward this point, okay? You want it to sort of maybe slightly slope upward into this concave kind of shape right here. Some of these don't really need that, but I've seen some that can be a little finicky and a little more particular about the shape here. So generally, if you're having some issues, try taking a little bit more off in this area right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean and lubricate all of the components of the fire control groove with some of our Attica Armory citrus-powered synthetic CLP. I'll just go ahead and pop that little bolt stop back in there. Make sure that your spring is forward just like that. And you'll kind of need to compress the spring a little bit here. As you insert that pin, you want the spring to be underneath that cross pin on the top. And don't put that all the way in until, of course, you get your little ejector in there. Get those all lined up, and that cross pin should pop all the way through. And same deal on the bottom. You need to kind of jimmy things a little bit. Still got those tight virgin holes until I break them in real good. All right, let's pop this back into stock and let's give it a test run. And Ruger calls for between 10 and 20 inch-pounds. I'm usually doing about 17 or 18. And now, my friends, for the moment of truth. Let's see if it works. My hand is far away from there, so you know I'm not cheating. I'm just gonna pop this back, release it forward. Holy smack! That's it. See that one more time, just for good measure. That's it. So we seem to be in good shape. And that about wraps it up today, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it worked for you as easy as it worked for me. Please let us know in the comments below if you had any luck with this or if you had any troubles. Maybe we can try to help you out. And with that, thanks for visiting today, and we'll see you again next time at ATTRIBUTIONS Armory.